Jill Duggar is breaking her silence about a terrifying health crisis that could put future pregnancies at serious risk. With fans already fearing the worst, including the possibility of another heartbreaking miscarriage, Jill's emotional revelation has everyone asking, is her family about to face another tragic loss? Stay with us as we unpack everything Jill just revealed. Jill Duggar, once a beloved star of 19 Kids and Counting and later Counting On, is making headlines again, not for family drama, but for a deeply personal and emotional health battle. In a heartfelt and sobering update to her fans, Jill opened up about a shocking medical crisis that could impact her ability to carry future pregnancies. As concerns mount and rumors swirl, many are asking the heartbreaking question, could Jill be facing the risk of another devastating miscarriage? The revelation comes at a time when Jill has been increasingly transparent about her personal struggles, distancing herself from the strict rules of the Duggar household and blazing her own path. But behind her strength and independence, Jill has been quietly facing a health scare that now threatens to affect one of the most delicate aspects of her life, her journey through motherhood. In this in-depth report, we take a closer look at Jill's recent disclosure, the possible causes of her health condition, the implications for her growing family, and the overwhelming support as well as concern pouring in from fans around the world. Jill Duggar has been a significant cast member from Duggar News shows 19 Kids and Counting On. She was, unfortunately, one of the victims of Josh Duggar and had a traumatic childhood. TLC had to cancel the show when his heinous crimes came into the limelight. First, it was molesting minors as a teenager, including his family members, and then possessing CSAM on his device. But throughout this, Jill has stood for what was right. She spoke up against her felon brother and also held her parents accountable for practicing toxic IBLP norms. Amidst all this, the star had to face a devastating blow last year because of her stillbirth. Turns out she has given yet another pregnancy-related update. However, it is not something positive but rather concerning, so what is it? Last year, Jill Duggar and her husband Dillard were supposed to welcome the first girl in their family, i.e. baby Isla. However, the former must be in her second trimester when she found out about the little one's stillbirth. It was honestly one of the most painful experiences of her life. She also hosted a funeral at her Arkansas home and invited her family to mourn the little angel's passing. Since then, Jill has often used her social media to share many things. She also commemorated the little one's 6-month anniversary since she passed. Apart from that, there have been several other posts where the mother has talked about inching towards normalcy while living with this loss. While most have been concerned, others find it healthy that she has been finding ways to cope with it by sharing her experiences. Jill Duggar opens up about compromised health. High-risk pregnancy. Jill Duggar has become a popular social media celebrity. Despite TLC canceling the Duggar News family shows, they have a good social media presence. Some also use their influencer abilities to make a living, and Jill is one of them. So, she is used to informing her viewers about every major to minor detail from her life. During an Ask Anything session, someone wanted to ask an important question. They asked if Jill and her husband Derick were comfortable with having only sons in the family. The fan wondered if they would ever try for a daughter. Well, it turns out the Duggar celeb recounted the time she had to lose her daughter Isla Marie Dillard to stillbirth. But that's not all. She said she and her husband, Derick, were not trying for kids at the moment. She then revealed a massive yet concerning update. Turns out, Jill faces a high pregnancy risk. She said her pregnancies and deliveries are very difficult. Hence, the couple would have to consider a lot before welcoming a new family member into their lives. However, Jill didn't reveal the technicalities of why she had a chance of her pregnancies being high risk. It must be a sensitive topic for her after the devastating stillbirth tragedy. Nevertheless, lots of fans and well-wishers sent strength and prayers her way through the comments section and other social media posts. Jill Duggar has long been seen as one of the most resilient and independent voices from the Duggar family. Best known for her appearances in 19 Kids and Counting and its spin-off Counting On, Jill's story has been one of courage, healing, and truth-telling. Over the years, she has stepped away from the rigid and often controversial values of her upbringing, speaking out not only against the toxic system she was raised in but also against the injustices committed by her own brother, Josh Duggar. Now, the mother of three is making headlines for an entirely different reason, one that strikes at the very core of her personal journey, a deeply concerning health update that puts her future pregnancies at serious risk. After suffering the heartbreaking loss of her daughter Isla Marie to stillbirth in 2023, Jill has revealed that her health has been compromised to the point that another pregnancy could be dangerous. The revelation has stunned fans and raised fresh concerns about the emotional and physical toll the past few years have taken on the former reality star. Jill's story is one marked by trauma, but also by transformation. She was one of the victims in the tragic scandal that brought down the 19 kids and counting empire. Her older brother, Josh Duggar, was exposed for molesting several young girls, including his own sisters, when he was a teenager. For years, the Duggar family, especially parents Jim, Bob, and Michelle, tried to bury the truth under a veneer of religious respectability. When the truth was exposed, TLC swiftly canceled the show. For Jill, the scandal wasn't just a public relations disaster, it was a deeply personal wound. But instead of remaining silent, she found the strength to speak out. In later interviews and in her book Counting the Cost, she bravely shared how the traumatic experiences of her childhood shaped her views on family, faith, and healing. She held her parents accountable for enabling a toxic culture and stood up against the rigid and controlling norms of the Institute in Basic Life Principles, a religious organization long linked with the Duggar family. Her courageous testimony has earned her praise and admiration, especially among former fans of the show who have grown increasingly disillusioned with the Duggar parents and their outdated values. In the fall of 2023, Jill and her husband Derick Dillard made a heartbreaking announcement. They had lost their daughter Isla Marie to stillbirth. Jill was in her second trimester when she learned that her baby girl no longer had a heartbeat. The emotional devastation was profound. She described the experience as one of the most painful of her life. The couple held a private funeral at their Arkansas home, surrounded by close family and friends. Jill later posted photos of the small ceremony, revealing delicate touches like tiny baby clothes, handwritten letters, and a soft pink casket. It was a moment of raw honesty and vulnerability that resonated with countless parents who have walked the same heartbreaking path. In the weeks and months following the loss, Jill continued to share her grief journey online. She commemorated Isla's 6-month anniversary, posted reflective messages about grief and hope, and thanked her followers for their ongoing support. Her openness helped others feel seen, and gave them permission to talk about miscarriage and stillbirth in ways that have too often been shrouded in silence. Jill has always used social media to connect with fans and offer glimpses into her daily life, marriage, and motherhood journey. So when she recently opened up during a casual Ask Me Anything session, fans weren't expecting the shocking update that followed. A follower asked Jill if she and Derick ever considered trying for a girl again, especially since they are currently raising 3 sons, Israel, Samuel, and Frederick. Jill gently responded that they had indeed hoped to welcome a daughter, and they did in the form of Isla, whom they lost to stillbirth. But then she went on to reveal something even more sobering. Jill shared that she faces high-risk pregnancy complications. Her past pregnancies and deliveries have all been very difficult, she explained. While she didn't go into specific medical details, likely due to the emotional weight and privacy surrounding the issue, her message was clear: another pregnancy might not be safe. "We're not trying for more kids right now," she told her fans. "My body has been through a lot and we have to be very careful moving forward." The statement sparked an outpouring of concern and compassion from her followers. Many praised her for prioritizing her health and being honest about the toll motherhood can take on a woman's body. Others expressed sorrow that Jill, who had hoped for a daughter, might never have the chance to carry another child safely. While Jill hasn't disclosed the exact cause of her high-risk status, some fans have speculated that complications such as placenta previa, preeclampsia, or uterine scarring from previous deliveries could be at play. All of Jill's children were born under vastly different circumstances, from home births to hospital deliveries, including a C-section. Additionally, Jill has shared in past interviews that her deliveries were long, painful, and medically complex. She's also spoken out about the pressure she felt in her upbringing to avoid pain medications or hospital interventions, due to the IBLP's strict views on natural childbirth and gender roles. Now that she's free from those constraints, Jill is reclaiming her right to make informed decisions about her health and family planning. And if that means stepping away from future pregnancies, she's prepared to do so. "I have to think about my boys. They need me here," she once said in a previous interview. The response to Jill's announcement has been overwhelmingly positive. Thousands of fans have flooded her comment sections with messages of love, encouragement, and gratitude. "You're brave for sharing this," one follower wrote. "So many women suffer in silence. Thank you for speaking up." Another said, "Isla will always be remembered. And if you never have another baby, you've already given so much love to the children you have." Others have applauded Jill for showing what it looks like to take control of her own body and future, a stark contrast to the Duggar family's traditional message of endless motherhood and submission. Jill Duggar's health update isn't just about one woman's medical journey, it's about breaking a generational cycle. In distancing herself from her family's teachings, speaking out about abuse, and making empowered choices about her own health, Jill is setting a new example for her children and her followers. She's proving that it's okay to question tradition, to grieve publicly, and to prioritize physical and mental wellness. And in a culture where women are too often expected to sacrifice everything for motherhood, Jill's stance is a powerful one. As Jill and Derick move forward, they continue to raise their sons in an environment grounded in honesty, love, and autonomy. Couple has focused on creating a nurturing home that is free from the oppressive expectations they both grew up under. They are raising their children with greater emotional awareness, flexibility, and respect for individual needs. While the future remains uncertain when it comes to expanding their family, one thing is clear: Jill is charting her own course. And she's doing it with integrity. Jill Duggar is no longer just a member of a famous family. She is a survivor, an advocate, and a mother navigating the hardest parts of life with courage and grace. Her recent health revelation is just another chapter in her journey, one that highlights the importance of self-care, boundaries, and healing after loss. Though she may not return to reality TV, Jill's real life, unfiltered and honest, continues to resonate. And her voice, once silenced by a toxic system, now speaks volumes.